Okay, I'm doing this recording here to help my farmtown friends out about layering. You know, when you're not up in levels to where you can afford a combine and a plow. This is true layering, and it helps you plant 4-day and 5-day crops. Or, you know, there's only one 5-day, and that's the acorn squash. So I put that on the bottom layer, and then I plant 4-day crops on top of it, or 3-day crops. And when I plant wheat, I always plant wheat, tomatoes, and sorghum or whatever, because I have a factory that uses a lot of sorghum. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to plant some layers and show you exactly how it's done. Might be a little bit longer video, but as you can see, as we start out here, that we have a farm and everything's been plowed once. And there was 2 squares right here behind this truck that wouldn't take the plow, and that means that there was, if the plow and you refresh, if it doesn't take, and there's any squares here that are still harvested, that means there's crops under it. There's another layer that didn't get harvested from the previous. So we cleared that all up. Now, I'm going to just position this to where you can see I don't have any trees showing, or my buildings are gone, and I've plowed underneath everything that I can. A lot of times decorations you can't plow under, and of course you can't plow under the oil pump. Okay? So now, the first thing to do is go up here, and I'm on Farmer Dave's Farm 5. So I'm going to check that, and I'm going to make it my default farm, because I want to come back to this farm all the time. I don't want to go to the other ones. The first mistake people make is that they don't have the farm they're working on as the default farm. Okay, now all we're going to do is go up here to this green plug, and it says connected here. We're going to click on that. It's going to say disconnect from the mainframe and enter on offline. So I do that. Now it's red. Now I save, right? And now what I can do is go up here to the play button and right click it and open a link in a new tab. And I'm going to do that 3 more times. So what I'm doing is opening 3 tabs up here at the top. So I have my farm town that I'm on. I have the next one, the next one, and the next one. So now I got to go to my second farm. It loads, and notice the green thing up here is red. Now it was green, it turned red, and it says connection to server is closed. If you want to reconnect, you're supposed to hit the green. Well, we hit the red because we want to continue in offline. So we click that. And then we click OK. And then we click save. Okay? So now our second farm, which is really the first farm, or whatever, it's in the offline mode. So now I go to the third farm. It says closed again. Click the green to reconnect. I don't want to reconnect. I want to stay offline. And I'm offline still. Now this third one, when we save the 4th tab, it's going to be green. So we click on it and click it off, and it says disconnect from mainframe. We got to make sure that we disconnect, and that turns red. Then hit save. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, now we go to the first farm that we started with. As you can see, my little deer's here and I'm here. The second farm, I kind of moved a little bit and the horses, the Clydesdale's still here. And then on the third farm, I'm looking the other way. See the difference? Okay? See, I moved a little bit. On each one of these, it moves a little bit. Okay, so now we're back to like I said, the first farm up here that we started with. That's going to be our bottom layer. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go up here to sow. We're going to pick the harvest time. We're going to go down here, and since it's 8:30 something in the morning, I'm going to plant an 8-hour crop because I haven't planted an 8-hour. So I need lettuce. So we're going to put lettuce on the bottom. So here we go. We're going to put lettuce here. It loads. Then we can go ahead and plant it. Okay, bear with me. I mean, you know, this might be, you know, you can, the YouTube video when it comes out, you can squeech it ahead or whatever, but if you don't go through the whole ball of wax, I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling what you have to do. So I just want to make sure that we go through the complete thing and don't start and stop a tape. We just keep talking. So we're just doing this in Farmtown. And so we're planting lettuce here on my farm number 5. Okay, and what I used to do is when I got down here to the corner, and I mean you can check it out to make sure on your first couple of times, but what you want to do is plant the whole field in one crop, but you cannot. Now I can't plant 2 layers of lettuce. I have to do another crop. So well, as soon as I'm done here, and the little eyeball is going to tell me if I got any crops that I missed, and I did miss one right there, so I'll do that. Must have missed another one. Did that. Okay, now I'm back. So I save it, right? I just saved it. Now I'm going to go up here, and I'm just going to close that tab. Now I'm back to the farm with no crops on it. So we're going to go over here to sow the second crop. And of course, harvest time, I pick harvest time. And you can take a 4-day crop and then plant a 3-day crop and a 2-day crop and a 12-hour crop, but it just can't be 2 crops. So we planted an 8-hour crop. So the next one I go through a lot of alfalfa. So I planted lettuce on the first one. I'm going to plant alfalfa on the second farm, which is the second layer from the bottom. So if you write this down, you know, you can remember what the bottom layer was. That was lettuce. So it's going to end up lettuce on the bottom because that was the first farm that I planted. So I'm sitting here, I'm planting as fast as I can so we can get through this tape, or my batteries in my camera don't go out. But we're planting away here. You know, a lot of those guys, they're only planting one plot so that they can tell you how to do it. Well, the thing about it is you're planting the whole farm. You're not planting just one, 4x4 or 16 fields or whatever. You could plant half of the farm, in one crop and plant it in the other, but then you got to remember that you can't double up weed on two different layers of, say, the same farm 5. Now I can go to farm number 6 and plant the same crops, which I do a lot. So now I'll check to make sure, that I got all the plots. Okay, when it pops up and the I is gone, that means that I can save and I can close. So that's the second crop that I just planted on the same farm. There's the horse, the Clydesdale, there's the cedar. Well, okay, we're going to plant. And I go to A to Z and pick harvest time, and then I'll go down to 8-hour crop and pick one. We're going to do 8 hours. We don't want to do a 12-hour crop now because we got 2 8-hour crops underneath of it. I mean, we could do it, but we're going to be... Okay, so I did alfalfa, so now I'm going to do clover. So instead, I'm going to go this way. It doesn't matter how you plant. I mean, whatever's faster for you is the whole deal. So now we're planting. And if you do, 5 layers or 6 layers or whatever, you got to remember that sometimes Farmtown will time out. So the bigger the cedar you got, and of course, the cedar takes fuel. As you can see, my fuel is going down. I still got over 1 million, but the cedar takes up fuel, and every time that you buy seed, it costs you seed. So, but you can't see that because of the way the screen's set up, and I want it to be clear, but I'm just planting away here. I will not run out of money for seed, but if you're just first starting out, you got to watch your fuel and you got to watch your seed for money, because otherwise you can't make it. But if you have your neighbors harvest instead of going to the market to harvest, your neighbors will make you more money. Okay, let's check and see. Whoops. Must have a couple more. There we go. Well, we just got alfalfa planted. Now we're down to the last farm, or the last layer. Now this is the layer that's going to show up first when you go to bring it. So we're going to go here and go to this. We're going to pick another 8-hour crop. Harvest time. Let's go down here, and hibiscus, I only got 5,000 in grape tomatoes. Got 6,000. I can't do lettuce. We got green beans. We're gonna go ahead and do grape tomatoes because I do need some. So the last one is gonna be tomatoes. Okay, so we're planting the tomatoes. Now there's going to be 4 layers. There's going to be 4 layers underneath when I refresh, and I will show how you can check, but I usually, I'm very greedy, so. But what happens is when you go to harvest, instead of plowing your field, you have to bulldoze your field. while the neighbor is, well, they can be harvesting. A couple years ago, this is the only way a person, well, before the stacking came out, but stacking is tough because you got to have a combine and a plow, and it only allows you to plant one crop per all the layers, which gives you more of one crop, but you're waiting 5 days or 4 days for pumpkins, and you need pineapples too, or whatever. Okay, so now we have it. So now we're going to save. Now I'm going to refresh. So we go up here in the corner, and just refresh, because it's our last farm. Okay, it's loading. And it loaded grape tomatoes. See that? So now I'm going to go down here in the corner, and I'm going to get my bulldozer. I have a green one. I don't have the next two. I'd like to have them because I could clear faster. But I'll take my orange bulldozer, and I'll do 6 plots. I'll bulldoze them. Now I'll go up here, and I'm going to refresh. Okay, now we'll look, and look, there's clover here in this corner. There's grape tomatoes, and if we look real close, the seeds have changed right here. Here's clover, here's grape tomatoes. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get my little bulldozer, right? And I'm gonna get my I'm gonna delete these 6 instead of the 9. Okay, then we're going to go up here and refresh. This is just to show you that all layers are indeed on this farm. We got the grape tomatoes. We got the grape tomatoes. We got the clover. Now we got the alfalfa. And now we're going to delete one more time. You don't have to delete these, but this is just so that you can see that there are indeed 4 different layers. See, I just cleared them, and this is what you do after you either harvest them, but once you get down to this bottom layer here, you don't want to delete those, because then you'll have to plow again. Have your neighbor plow, or have somebody from the market plow, but they got to understand that if you're doing 2 farms that are being harvested, when they're on the other farm, you can be bulldozing this farm, or half of it. When they come back, half of it's going to have grape tomatoes on it, half of it's going to have the next layer on it. You got to remember which farm we planted on the bottom. So we're looking for the lettuce. What I'm looking for is the lettuce. So we got the grape tomatoes on top. That was the last thing we planted, which is the first thing that you're gonna, and there's the lettuce. There's the alfalfa, there's the clover, and there's the grape tomato. And there's 3 plots of them. So when a neighbor farms, if you remember, don't clear these 9 when you clear this one. Just clear the grapes, and this one will stay harvested. This will stay harvested. This will stay harvested until you get to the lettuce. And then you can clear this row. And if you plow on top of this, you know, you harvest this, you plow on top of this, the plow won't take. Okay, so I hope this video has helped you to do layers on your farm town. So now in 8 hours I'm going to have 4 crops. I could have planted 5, 6, or 7, but I usually plant just 4 because the people that come harvest my crops, they're stuck in Groundhog Day farming on the same farm, and you get the thing for leveling up on the plow. But you don't have to, you only have to plow the bottom layer, the lettuce layer. You clear the top layer with the bulldozer. That's why they have so many here. So you can plant layers. You know, you can buy a 5x5 clearer, or a 6x6, which will be faster. But like I said, I don't have this harvest plow combine. I'm not, I don't have the tools. So I'll plant my layers this way, because if you plant the staggered fields, then you're only planting 1 crop. But then it'd be nice to be able to harvest and plow at the same time. Okay, hope this works for you.